Hey, 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 it's your girl Nay coming to you with another episode of As Told by Nay, the podcast. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope that you're doing well, feeling great. Sitting here with my guest for the evening. We'll have a very intense conversation, and I know what y'all thinking. Nay, you just hit us with something real heavy last week. How you doubling back with it? Well, the conversation is very important, and y'all know how I feel as a therapist about being able to walk in your truth. We have to talk about trauma. We have to process. We have to help one another heal. And I think that, there's no such thing as too much healing. So I'm going to give my guest the opportunity to introduce herself, let the people know who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, my name is Leverett. I'm a massage therapist.
Share your truth. And we're going to need you to speak up a little bit,
I got a soft voice.
Okay. So we're gonna get you ready because she told me that this is her first podcast. So to get her loosened up a little bit, y'all know I like to do my excuse me come again questions. So we're gonna go ahead and get that going for her. Little icebreaker, you did not get to prepare for this piece. Just go with it. I promise I won't ask nothing too crazy. Not too crazy, not today. All right, so question number 1. What is your definition of cheating?
So, my definition of cheating, when you are actually actively kissing, flirting, buying dates and paying for really paying for somebody's stuff, like having a separate life.
Okay.
Cheating is basically, what cheating is.
Do you feel like it's a difference between emotional cheating and physical cheating? Like, is one worse than the other? Is there even not two different things? Like, what do you think about that?
It's crazy that you said that because, it is a difference between emotional cheating and physical cheating. Because there's some guys that actually use other women as emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
And, they don't have to have sex, but because they're talking to that one and, not communicating with their loved one, that person, everybody feel like, they can cheat on because what am I here for?
Right. Emotionally. Y'all got to take care of people emotionally. Okay. Very good, very good, very good. All right. Question number 2. Would you rather have the power to time travel or the power to see the future?
Yeah. I would want to go back in time, but I'm gonna go see the future.
Go see the future. See, I feel like I wouldn't want to know the future because then I'm gonna be trying to change some shit, and that takes away from the organic journey of life. Unless I was going just to kind of see and I had no control over changing it. Like, this is what it's going to be. But we just giving you a glimpse. That would be torture. But I could dig it. All right. Question number 3. Favorite song lyric? And if you don't have a favorite song lyric, favorite song?
I love that song.
I am weak. Okay. All right. Question number, is this 3 or 4? Okay, question number 4. You threw me off with your last answer. Got a little turned around, but we back. If you had one last meal, what would it be?
Chicken.
That's it? Just chicken? That's not a meal, that's a dish.
Right.
Now we need some sides with that thing. We need some something.
Right.
That sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I don't know what my final meal will be. I like food. There's so much food that I would want to have if that was the last thing I was eating.
With a burger.
With a burger. That don't go together. I'm here for it. All right. Oh, pretty simple. Those are the issues we're going to get questions. I'm going to give you this. We're going to toast up for the evening. I like to let my guests decide what we're toasting to. So that's on you. Let's try. Okay, I can't hit. So, all right. So, we're about to turn this music off because Ty's gonna make me put her face right up to the mic. We need the people to hear. I'm spilling stuff. Matter of fact, let me turn this music down because I can already see this. We're not doing that tonight. All right, so what are we toasting to? Life. I'm here for that. All right. And it's right here. So if at any point in the night you need, another one, because again, we talking a little heavy tonight, and it's all good because it's necessary. So if I had to give tonight's conversation a title, I would call it Love is Blind. What are you talking about? Love is Blind, Nate? Well, domestic violence. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the Eve song from back in the day. And that is the song that always comes to mind when I hear somebody talking about a domestically violent relationship. That song was very raw and very real. And the video was at the age, I feel like that song came out, I had to be like middle school, going into high school, but I didn't have a real understanding of what was what, but just like thinking back on the imagery of it, I actually went back and watched it before the show, and it's just like, that's real. That's real. So yeah, if this is going to be a triggering conversation for anybody, I would just suggest that you don't watch me tonight. I understand. It will be uploaded to my page. You can always double back later and watch it when you feel up to, having this conversation and being a part of what is. Because we're going to have her tell us this story of hers and her journey and, all those things. And so she already let me know nothing is off limits. So we might go there tonight. So if it's going to, you know what I'm saying? Safety first. This is a safe space. So yeah, Love is Blind. Let's get into it. So out the gate, how did all of this begin for you? Like, walk us through the good feelings, the good thoughts, like how the relationship started.
Well, honestly, by me staying with my dad at the time, we stayed in the hole, and he saw me. Like he got like information from my cousin, who she older than me, but she wasn't trying to like protect me. She was just viewing me as, okay, my little cousin having sex. She's okay, she grown, she make her own decision.
Mm-hmm.
So when he approached me, he was on some, I want to bite you.
Okay.
And me at the time,
I don't want to bite you.
I was young, wild and free and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. And so he took me to a room, and that's when it happened. And so ever since then, it was kind of like he didn't stop trying to communicate with me. He always was like, every time he see me, I mean, it was like for weeks before I actually had his phone number. Because he would see me come out the door. I was going to massage school at the time, so I get out of school at 10:50 at night, get home by 11, he outside, drinking and stuff, smoking cigarettes. He smoked weed. He would do a little sniff or something, but I didn't know about the sniffing stuff until like later.
Okay.
I only got to see what he showed me.
Right.
He was smoking cigarettes and drinking and stuff, and he was drinking like vodka and stuff.
Okay. So out the gate then, y'all were physical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 19.
Okay. And how old was he?
Like 41. Like 40, 41.
Okay, so you were 19, he was 41. 40 turning 41. What in your 19-year-old mind, if you can remember back to then, said, I'm interested in this 41-year-old man? Because I mean, let's just be honest, we was all just talking about the R. Kelly situation a little while ago. Older men go for a younger woman. This is, she was older than 18 at the time, so everything is legally there. But as a young woman, on the flip side, like, what about this older man made you say, I'm gonna try that?
Well, first top game was up, like, just saying nice things, like, charming, kind, and because I was very insecure about myself. I didn't view myself as a pretty girl. I knew I was shaped like a grown woman, but like I just couldn't tap into that. But honestly, what made me try is because I never dated an older guy.
Okay.
So I wanted to see how it is. And he had his own transportation. I had my own transportation. So I was like, that's a plus. He didn't have his own spot. That's the only difference. But he was able to buy rooms and stuff. And I never had nobody, not even young dudes like that, for real, let's go get a room. And he paid for everything type thing. So I was one and done.
So it was something new.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah. And I'm not too hard to please. I'm very simple. Like, he brought me slides and I was so fucking happy. Like, just because I'm simple, like, and I didn't even want the slides. I was just like, I'm too shy, like, to ask for anything.
Okay. So you said something very profound there, and something I definitely want to bring to the listeners and viewers mindset to think about is, when you think about domestically violent relationships, it starts off good. Like, nobody's gonna day one walk into a situation that's violent and then we just go from there. This tactic is called grooming, and you see that across the board in all abusive relationships, whether it's emotionally, physically, sexually, people that do molestation, like grooming. You make the person feel comfortable, you make them feel like this is a good situation, and that way later it's easier to flip the script and get what you want from the people. And then on top of the fact of, he was so much older than you. He knew she's a young girl, I can kind of flash a little money, do a little this and do a little that, and I got her. It's called preying. They prey on people that they know that they can easily manipulate. And that's the scariest part about it, because I'm sure you didn't think you would be in a situation like this.
But like, I could also state that he has said things that if I would have just been, if I would have just took it serious, as in, like, he said, I would hurt you if you, leave me type thing, or, I would, it's just, he said like crazy shit.
And that's exactly where I wanted to go with this conversation. So, red flags.
Yeah.
What were some of those beginning red flags that stick out in your brain? Like you just said, I hurt you if you leave me. Like, when did that start?
Right. So I was with him for like a good year.
Okay.
And it didn't start for real until I got closer to graduate massage and stuff. Because at that time, he noticed I was going to start my new career. I was going to start a career because I just got out of high school. So it was like, I'm going to start a career. I got my own transportation and stuff. So, and I'm the type, I'm a free spirit. I go I go hang out with my people.
Mm-hmm.
Like no man gonna stop me from hanging out with my friends, and that's guy friends, my best friends, my family. Like nobody gonna stop me. If I love you, I care about you, I'm gonna check on my peoples. So he didn't like that I wouldn't spend time with him because I ain't the type of him.
Okay. So you said about a year into it,
Yeah.
things started to be like, well, wait a minute.
Like, yeah. Because I got with him in December. And then I moved into my mom's house in like July. So that was like 7 months. And when I moved in with my mom, it was getting close around the time that I was fit up. I graduated 9/11. So that's like what, 2 months? 2 months from July. So yeah. So it was like basically halfway in the relationship where I seen flags and stuff that I ignored.
Yeah. And a lot of times people can't hide that for very long. When they are grooming and pretending to be this great person, it's only a matter of time before they slip and the true colors show. And a lot of times what happens is people are already sucked in. They already love this person, care about this person, thinking that it won't get too much worse than this, or I can fix them, I can love them into something different. And that's just, not the reality of it. When you think back on when did he begin to be physically like aggressive or put hands, or like when the things did you realize like, okay, this is more than what I thought?
I can count on one hand how many times I've actually got into it with him. Because I'm gonna tell you, like the relationship with him wasn't domestic like that.
Okay.
It was like the first time I had put my hands in his face because he was mad at me for laughing at my cousin's brother who I had sex with before I even had dealings with friends. It was just, so they
like a jealousy thing.
Yeah, it was jealousy thing. So when we went home, he was telling me, go home. And I'm like, bitch, I ain't going home. Like, I'm at my cousin's house. You at my people's house.
Right.
And but when I went home that night, we got into it, and I had my hands like this, because he coming towards me, and he bit my thumb back. So that was one time. He was like, he apologized. I'm sorry, you do this. That was that. And then the second time was when he put a machete out. And that was when I was staying with my mom. Okay. So like he when he put the machete out and a pocket knife, he was just like, bitch, I'll kill you if you beat me type thing. And I was just like thinking he bluffing. You feel me? But like also scared and stuff to where, I had to seduce him, calm him down, whatever, to be like, hey, just chill, calm down. I ain't gonna leave, whatever, And then the third time was when he stabbed me in my mom.
That escalated quickly.
Exactly.
So were there arguments? Was he like verbally aggressive?
Like he get drunk and he talk shit, and like, but he don't leave, So I get the text messages and all that.
Gotcha.
So, but as in the face, like, he said some, called me out my name before, but other than that, I was talking shit back. And when my brother was there, because at the time, my brother moved back into my mom's house and stuff, he was just dating to my brother. It was just, I leave.
Okay. So was there ever a time where you felt like you needed to talk to your family or your friends about the situation, or in your relationship, was it more of, this is my situation, I'm going to deal with it the way that I need to deal with it, and we're going to keep this over here?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I talked to people, but I didn't open up. Like, I've talked to people, but I didn't get it depth.
Okay.
And stuff. So, yeah. I pretty much hid stuff. And that's because, you know, you don't want to be judged and people think, oh, you're going to be with them and
Right.
they going to get back together. Yeah.
Which a lot of times is what happened. You know, a lot of domestically violent relationships stay that way because they bank on that. Like, this is happening within our relationship. They're not really going to tell people because, you know, we as women, a lot of times we fuss with our men anyway, and we don't want the family to see them no type of way, or exactly like you said, we're not going nowhere. So there's no need in like raising this alarm to people, and you know, because we're gonna still be with the person. So that gives those relationships and that toxicity fuel to grow and, you know, kind of go into something. So let's get right into it. I ran across your post a little while ago and I was completely moved by it. You were talking about that you had just gotten, and I'm not even going to say closure because this is a situation that will forever be a part of your story. So the chapter isn't closed, but you got some type of justice because there was a trial.
Yes.
And, you know, talk to me about, before we get into that, what even is that? Because as I'm reading the story about how we got to this trial, what even happened, what are we trying this man for, I was mortified just in reading it. And it was just like, I could not imagine someone going through that. So if do you feel comfortable and safe? Can you please share with us like what that incident was, what happened, and kind of take us through the events that led up to this?
So basically, the day before I got stabbed, he accused me of stealing his pocket knife. And my brother found it, and he was just like, your pocket knife right here, which you arguing with my sister for, or whatever. And that was because I came in the house like 8 o'clock in the morning for being out late at night. So he was pissed. And at that time, for the record, I was not with him. When going out with him, he was just staying at my mom's house.
So y'all were living together?
Yeah. Okay. And that's also, I want to say, that was my first time ever living with a man in my life. Like, before I moved in my mom's house, me and him stayed in my cousin Kurt house that he was renting out and basically remodeling with Burns money and stuff. But yeah, basically when he raised the rent for that place, that forced us to move with my mom. Well, that made me want to bring him in the home with me to my mom's house because he could have went somewhere else, but he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave attached to me. He was so attached. So basically, the day before I got stabbed, my brother, he broke the pocket knife in front of my brother. That we thought, you know, we should have got him out of the house then. But that morning, the next day, him and my brother was cleaning up the house and stuff like that. And I not too long ago came back from, you know, spending time with my godson. And when something just came over me when he came to the house that day. He rode up riding fast. So when he came up, he dropped the bike and he walked around to the side door. Me and my cousin Imani was, you know, watching him and stuff. And then when he came to the door, I just opened it because I know he's coming here. I should never open the door, but when he opened it, he pushed me like into the corner behind the door and like, you know, just looking at me. But then when he noticed Imani, he was just like, he chilled out. And then, you know, once Imani finally left and fast forward, I'm gonna get ready to go wash my ass and go hang out with my cousin. He just came in the room and was just looking at me like, yo, what's up? Like, and I'm just like, what are you here for? Like, I'm thinking you done got your shit. I done already took your stuff to your daddy house because his dad stayed like by the baseball field. So I'm like, what are you here for? Like, I don't, I'm over it. I'm just like, go back to Bradenton, go back to your wife. Because he had a wife.
Okay.
That too.
Okay.
I didn't want to be with a married man. It was 2016 that we were stepping into, and I'm like, bruh, I don't want to be with a married man no more. Like, my mama dating a married man who became a widow and stuff like that at the time, and I was just like, I don't want to be like my mom. I don't, because she's not happy. You feel me? Like, I'm not happy, so what's the point? And I was actually, using Bernice as a protection for me for dealing with my mom's step boyfriend, because because of him, I got my first felony charges.
Mm-hmm.
So aggravated assault with weapon, no intents to kill. Like, I'm trying to find somebody to get his ass, but it ended up turning around that Bernice ended up coming in the house and come and attack me because I don't want to be with him anymore. And then my mom just stepping in to protect me because I'm a fucking baby girl.
Right.
So it's like, to be put in that situation, all because I don't want to be with you. I'm over it. I'm living my life, doing what's best for me. And I'm a young girl. Like, I was 20 and I got stabbed 2 months before my 21st birthday. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I got stabbed on my cousin's birthday. That's what really fucks it up. Like, yeah. So, basically, he was pissed because I said, go back to Bradenton. And then he walked out, he walked back in, walked out, walked back in. And he was just like, what you said to me? And I was like, go back to Bradenton. And he said, bitch, I'm finna kill you. Put his hand behind his back. And he stabbed me in the shoulder. I got little kids asking me what happened. I tell them straight up. Even my little babies, I tell them straight up, I got stabbed. Be real. I can't lie. Oh, I got a little ant bite. No, man, I got stabbed. Because little kids can get stabbed too, just being innocent bystanders. I had 2 dogs in the house. He could have stabbed them, but they were so, they not trained to kill like that. It is either in you or it's not. But when he stabbed me in my shoulder, I yelled and I ran out to my mom. And then she came out with a cane. She was like, Bernice, I heard you about my baby. And he came towards us. And they was fighting. I went past them, went to the front door. He chased after me. He stabbed me in my head, as you can see, got that. And when he did that, she hit the knife out of his hand. So I dove to the ground and I grabbed it. So as I'm grabbing the blade. And instead of me like, let go of time, boom or some shit, I'm just gripping, trying to, pull it from him. So I'm cutting my hands and shit. I was cutting my fingers off. And next thing you know, he ended up fucking biting me on my arm. I don't know if I still got it.
He bit you enough that it
still left a mark.
Yeah.
6 years.
Wow.
6 years he bit me so fucking hard, bro. My adrenaline was up, but he was biting the fuck out of me. And then he bit me on my stomach this long because he didn't bite me as hard. I'm fat. But they ended up cutting me open because he stabbed me in my stomach too. But yeah, so he bit me. He was biting me. My mama was fighting him and stuff like that. He took my mama cane. He was trying to choke me out with it. It's a big man. You feel me? And I don't know how I got him off me, but I got him off me. And then I went to the cabinet, the kitchen drawer, to grab me a knife. And he took the knife out of my hand because I ain't got no grip. So when I tried to run to my room to call 911, he cornered me at the refrigerator. So then he's cutting me in the neck. People think I got a trait because of that, cut me in my chin and stuff like that. So I'm fighting him off. And then he stabbed me in my stomach. My mama was on her hands and knees and she was like, Lord, please help me. And I was like, don't know what I said. But I was like, Bernice, help my mama. In that time, I'm just, panicking, like everything all over the place. Like my mama pleading for help, like, and I'm just like thinking, shit, you gonna help, but something gonna change in him. But hell no. He pushed me towards my mom. He was like, you help her. And I looked at my mama, and I was like, bro, I can't. I ran. Like, I ran to my room, called 911, and the split second of me doing that, all I see come back is I see him prepping put my mama, picking her up, putting her against the refrigerator, and her feet like this. So she slouched over. He was like screaming like, "This all your fault," type of thing, and I'm like, "What?" Like, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't want to do this type of stuff, and I'm like, just in so much shock because I couldn't believe, like, I'm getting stabbed. My mama's gone at this point.
He killed your mom.
Yeah. He killed my mom. I'm on the phone with 911. I'm answering every fucking question, whatever. He asking me, repeating stuff over. He's stuttering. And I'm just like, please, like, help, send help. Like he killed my mama, like, and when he came towards me, kicked the door in, and then he stabbed me in the side. And then I ended up being able to close him out. By that time, I put the chair in front of the door, and I sat in it. I was like, if he kicked this door in, he's gonna kick me in this chair. And he left. He ended up leaving. He stabbed my tires. He went across the street to go try to kill my godkid's mom, but she wasn't there. And then the grandma, she didn't open the door in time. By the time she opened the door, he was down her driveway, and he was like, the same thing I did to them, I was gonna do to her, do to Mary. And he walked off. And by that time, my auntie lady came in the house because she thought that my cousin Deshaun was, the ambulance was coming for his crazy ass or something. But in reality, she came to my house, and when I heard her voice, I shouted out like, "Auntie, he killed my mama!" And I came out. I didn't even see her. I just ran straight out to the door, to the curb, like waiting for the ambulance. And when I got there, I seen the police putting him in the car. He got caught by the police at the end of the street. So he didn't even get far.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did this attack, like, what was the duration of this? Was it quick? Was it?
The 911 call was 7 minutes. That's a long time for me to be in that house. I was already still fighting him. Like, I was done, but still trying to fight for my life because he stabbed me while I was on the phone with him. So it had to been, I feel like it could have been 20, 30. Wow. There ain't no telling. Like, it happened so fast. Everything happened so fast. So me, in my eyes, I would have said 10 minutes. But who knows? I was already on the phone for 7, so it could have been 10 minutes.
Right. Because most of this happened before you even called, and then it continued. Wow. How many times were you stabbed in total?
Like at least 7. Like 1, 2. Do you count these as stabs?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. I think I got like 1, 5, 6.
And I was with a pocket knife.
The kitchen knife. Kitchen knife. And then they counted these 2. Oh, yeah.
So what was the cause of death of your mom? Did he stab her as well?
In the left hip. 1 stab.
Wow.
She had 1 stab wound compared to 7. It fucked me up. Because he just got her good. And I was fighting. Because me as a massage therapist, they told us, like, see before you've done.
Right.
And I'm just in main arteries and veins and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah. And my mama a big lady. So she died because he stabbed me.
Wow. That's some intense shit.
I just, like, for me, it's like I guess I'm so strong, and it's like I be like, damn, bro, like that really happened to me. But it's like it's alright. I can shake that shit out, like and knock me down. Yeah, it's crazy though. But I feel like people went through worse than what I went through. Somebody done went through something way worse than what I went through. And then even around that time, that's when the pride thing that happened in Orlando, like they had to push back on viewing my mama's body because they had to send so many doctors out there and
the shooting.
Yeah, with the shooting. And one dude survived because his mom, took a bullet for him. And I can only imagine. I can't imagine getting shot. I'd take being stabbed over being shot. I just couldn't, because the bullet can still be inside you. Versus with me being stabbed, I did find out during trial that or before trial that the bacteria on the knife, because it's in the kitchen drawer and it wasn't clean and stuff. So that was inside me, and they had to give me an antibiotic or something to like stop it before it spread it.
Wow. First of all, I just want to offer my condolences to you. I could not imagine. And it's crazy because I know my mom, and if it was a same situation, she would have been fighting for her baby girl, and that's heavy. So talk to me a little bit about the trial. Did you have to testify? Like,
yeah, thank goodness. My testimony was all they needed, really, because I was the only one in the house. Imani couldn't even. They didn't even use Imani because she didn't see anything.
Right.
I mean, all she could say is he was the last person in the house. With him, Ty, and Tanya was in the house and stuff like that. So, because first time I had to realize that I was a witness and a victim.
Right.
So when I had to do trial, it was like the first time, I think it was like the first day, I couldn't even sit in there and listen to what the firefighters and MS said and stuff, because I was a witness. No, I was a victim or something. I didn't get to say my piece yet. But they was like, once I get testified and stuff, then I could sit in the court and then I could watch it. Because he got me kicked out. But it was good that he got me kicked out, because then he would have been able to say, oh, well, she was in there. Right. And then it'd be mistrial, and I had to start all over. And it was already like 5 years.
Wow.
Before we could even get to this point, because he kept playing crazy. So, trial was pretty, like, it was nerve-wracking. Like, the anticipation to get to that day, it was like nervous. I couldn't sleep for nothing. But then when it came, that week went by so freaking fast. And here it is, it's already a year and some change that he done been sent off to prison and stuff.
So what was that final verdict?
Life for my mom and 15 consecutive years for me. So he'll never get out. So I was like, that's what's up. That was the best thing, like the best day of my life. It happened on March 4th. It took them people like 40 minutes to talk and figure out what they're gonna say. Everybody said he was guilty. Nobody said not guilty. Like, they was even like, everybody was crying. They were like, I got a chance to read my victim's impact statement letter. That was like, I appreciate my friend Shakis for helping me out with it, because he helped me, put the words together to be able to speak and say like how I really felt and how it really traumatized me and affected my life, like the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, yeah.
So in this moment, you feel like you got justice for your mom.
Yes. Yeah.
What did the healing process like physically look like for you? Like, I'm sure you had to have surgery.
My hands was like this. Like, I didn't think I could massage. I thought my massage career was over. I just had got a job. My first job as a massage therapist was February 1st at Massage Heights. I got stabbed May 27th. Like, it was only 3 months of me working my job, and I was working 3 days, making like some $400 checks. I thought that was some money. But you feel me, living with your mom and she only charging you $100, like, that's money. Feel me? So, like, I was just starting, and then my hands were like this, and I was like, bro, my career over. And then I went and got massages and stuff, and I never forget Mr. Gabriel. He was giving me treatments and stuff with electrical stuff, and he helped with my scar tissue and it's softer. And he was just telling me, he was like, your career's not over. He said, listen, you only really be using these fingers. You know what I mean? And people to this day tell me, like, I can't tell that you had 2 tendon repairs.
Mm.
And I'm like,
so you're still massaging?
Yes, that's all I can do. I mean, I want to do more, but I've been massaging for 7 years. So it's time for me to do something different, but I love massaging. It's how can I say it? It's my calling, because everybody say I'm blessed with the hands. It's my calling. So,
okay. So did you did you go to therapy, or like the emotional healing process? What did that look like? Because I'm sure you're still emotionally healing, but here we are. You said 5 years, 6 years,
6 years,
6 years later. What did that look like, or what has it looked like?
Well, at first, like, I felt like I wasn't here. Like, I was just doing. And then I opened up to going to Childwell Hospice and getting grief and counseling and stuff like that. And then, talking about the yes. One lady, like, she felt like I was moving pretty good. And that's because I guess the way I was talking, like, I was just shallow. Mm-hmm. But I thought I was deep. And I guess I was really shallow. And she was like, you're good, type of thing. She liked. So it was like, you don't understand Black people trauma. Right. So I haven't found a Black therapist, but then I put myself in different groups, and that's why I became in the Queens of Domestic Violence group, because that was a space where I could open up and talk about what I'm going through. And there's women that actually either went through worse, like Miss Rhonda, she got stabbed by her boyfriend. And to talk and hear her story, it was like, wow, like, she went through that. I know, like, what I went through could be a little, it probably wasn't as bad as her, but, I just felt comfortable.
Yeah. So what's the group called?
Queens of Domestic Violence.
Queens of Domestic Violence. So for you, just being in that group setting then has been a part of that healing journey.
Yes.
Being able to talk about your story, hear other people's story. And I'm a firm believer in the group setting, and not just because I'm a therapist, but it's something about being able to know that you're not alone. I tell people all the time, it is human nature to want to connect, and whether that looks like this person can relate to me physically, emotionally, spiritually, maybe we're the same age, maybe we come from the same place, we've had some of the same experiences. We need that, and that helps to make us thrive, especially in dealing with trauma. And you said something very important. I just kind of want to reiterate that, like, therapy is good, but you have to get a therapist that can connect with you.
Mm-hmm.
There is proven studies that has been done. You have to get someone who understands your culture. You have to get someone who is sensitive to your where you grew up at, how old you are, the specific situation. Like if you run into a bad therapy or counseling experience, I would just encourage you to try again. Maybe try a different person, age-wise, background. Do your research, because those therapeutic relationships are just like any other relationship. Like you have to build there. So, but I'm glad that you find solace in your group and being able to connect with those ladies. And do some healing work there, because that is, somebody was saying you are very strong for sure, because I could not imagine.
Yeah. You couldn't tell me that I was gonna get sad and lose my mama and then be here to be able to talk about it and just be okay. Like I am okay. Yeah, I can. I dropped a few tears because you gotta let that shit out. Like I'm not gonna sit here and be like I don't cry. I do cry. Like I cry to myself. I don't get on the phone and talk. There's some people that done see me cry. Like my cousin Joy, I almost died on her birthday. So it's like I sit there and I talk to her because I know she's caring. She's very genuine, So you feel me? You gotta have those people in your corner. And I do. I'm blessed to say I do got people that love me and care about me enough that, I can talk to them. I can even just get a hug and I feel great. Yeah, I'm okay. I have friends that don't believe in doing therapy. And I'm just like, you don't understand the trauma that you got going on. I am not educated enough to help you, but there's people out there that can help you, understand you, and help you understand what you went through and where you going.
Right.
So.
So how does this look for you now as far as relationships, and do you feel like this experience has tainted your idea of love, or do you feel like you can't see yourself, like what's on the relationship, romantic, understanding, loving again? What does that look like, or have you even thought about it?
Well, I thought about it because I used to want a family. Have that 2-parent household, but daddy goes sleep in his own room. That's what mine. Because I grew up in a household where my parents did sleep in different rooms.
Okay.
My brother slept with my mom. I slept in the room with my dad. We had twin beds. It wasn't like I was in the same bed or anything. But as we got older and my sister moved out, then that's when me and my brother had our own rooms and stuff. But for me, I honestly feel like I don't look at, because I dated, I was, talking to men, going out on dates and stuff like that, because I had to build that trust and understanding that not every man is like Bernice.
Right.
Not every man wants to kill me, even though for first year, I felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like somebody was just out to get me. You can't share your goodies with these men because they go Cocoa Puffs.
Oh, crazy.
So I was just
literally.
I'm still on the edge. I'm more not vulnerable to the point where I can actually set boundaries and be like, nah, I ain't fit a vibe like that. So, but getting serious, I am still kind of iffy about it.
Sure.
I don't trust to be with a man fully seriously. Yeah, it's hard.
Definitely understandable. Yeah. It definitely takes time.
Yeah, I'm 6 years in, so yeah. But I find a Prince Charlie.
Oh, for sure. Y'all know me, hopeless romantic. I think everybody's gonna find their Prince Charming and their happily ever after. Whatever that looks like for them. So for sure, for sure. If you were able to talk to somebody that is in the same situation that you were in, any advice that you would give them, or what would you say to a young lady that's trying to figure out, well, maybe it won't be so bad. He's a little crazy. He said a little, you know,
knocking me upside my head.
right.
My advice is like, if you feel uncomfortable at times, majority of the time, don't stay in a relationship like that. You really need to love yourself. Like, there's more in this world with you. You can see more. You can have, like, you can really enjoy life if you really just love yourself more. Like, you can't expect a man to be there and love you for real, because men are just wanting what they want. Everybody want what they need. Like, they're everybody together for what they need. And we all got needs and wants, shall I say, like that. So, like, my advice to the young generation, you see a man talking about, I hurt you, all that crazy toxic stuff, bro, like, just save yourself, because not everybody make it out. That's all I can say. Not everybody make it out alive, and you just taking that risk with your life, and you just play. Think it's all you playing with your life for real. You just think that, oh, not we fought a little couple of times, but that's how love is. No, love ain't always violence, bro. Love is. You can say love ain't perfect or whatever, but love is what you make it out of.
Right.
Honestly, it's all how you make things.
Love is not supposed to hurt you. Mm-mm. Love is not supposed to make you afraid, uncomfortable. Like, if anything feels not right, that is not a good sign. Period. We have this weird misconception that, I hate when I hear that phrase, pain is love or love is pain. No, it's not.
No.
It's absolutely not.
And that's because people grew up in a household where their mom was being mean to them and say, but I love you.
I'm doing this because I love you.
I'm doing this because I love you. And it's like, no. You're just a messed up individual, and things been passed on. And that's how a lot of people grew up.
Right.
Yeah, but I can see now that's where the young generation, like, it's starting to change. Mm-hmm. Like, people are starting to speak out and be like, I'm not with it. I'll be single. There's a lot of single people out here, more than trying to be married for a name. I see people get married, and that's inspiring as heck. You know what I'm saying? But the majority of everybody else is like, nah, because married men cheating and,
hell, married women too.
Yeah.
It's definitely a new age and a new time around here. But it can happen to anybody. Yes. Like, so many times I've talked to clients and, they'll say the same thing that you said. I wouldn't have ever thought that I would find myself in this type of situation. And there's always the red flags, and there's always those moments that are uneasy or uncomfortable, and we just kind of, it's okay, it's fine, or he just mad, or, he drinks, or he does this. It's a reaction. No, baby. It could go so wrong so quick.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even like a real, like, big argument fight. Like, it literally was a going back to business, and just that quick, his mom went somewhere else.
Because he already was thinking, sitting on it, letting it
building. Was he under the influence at all when this was happening? Like,
he said he wasn't, but I believe he was.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he wasn't on drugs or anything when they arrested him and police report and all that stuff.
But yeah, because that is just
The natural.
I mean, not that anything could warrant that type of behavior, especially not me telling you to get out of here. Like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Like, what?
Simple stuff like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I just, and it blows my mind because like that's why for me it took me a long time to tell people how I feel, you know, because I didn't want nobody to lash out and try to kill me because I say, you feel me, how I feel, which is, you know, if I don't like something, I don't like what you're doing, it bothers me. You shouldn't want to hurt me about that.
Right. Yeah. Heavy. So as we start to kind of move into the end of the show, how can people find you? How can people connect with you? How can they tap in? Talk a little bit about your massage business. Like where can people get connected with Miss Ty?
Well, I have an Instagram page at Ty Leverett LMT, TIY LEVERETT LMT. And I have a Facebook page, which is Ty Leverett LMT. And I have a phone number, 941-248-4658. So if you want to book your massage, you just send me a message. I'll shoot you my booking site. And there you go. Oh, yeah. Massage.
Okay.
Blessed.
She said she got them blessed hands. I know that's right. Well, again, my condolences to you in this situation, but I just want to speak to your strength and like I'm very proud of you in this moment. With this being your first podcast and just so openly and willingly telling your story, because there's a lot of women and men out there that don't talk about the things that they have gone through, either from embarrassment or fear of retaliation. If they were able to get away, they don't want, backlash from speaking out, or just sheer fear, like not wanting people to know and being afraid to talk about that, and moving forward with their life. So for you to be in a space where you were able to get justice, testify, you fought back in the actual situation and are continuing with your life, like that is amazing. That is amazing, and you are strong, and I really appreciate your transparency here tonight, for sure. I know it's gonna help somebody.
That's why I was trying to figure out what was my purpose, and for years, like I was just like, what am I here for? And every time I tell my story, I talk to people, even me just being on Facebook, they're like, you're so like, you're resilient. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, wow, like I'm just doing, like I'm just like saying, trying to move forward in my life.
I'm trying to make it.
Yeah, and it's just to hear people say that is kind of like, wow, like it blows my mind because I'm like, I'm just living, just speaking my truth, letting people understand and, understand who I am. Like, anybody, just, I'm not a bad person, but just don't push me.
That's what they say. Yeah, this was good. This was good. I enjoyed the conversation. Again, thank you for being open to it.
Thank you.
You think this so bad? She came and was like, "Oh, this is my first podcast. I'm a little nervous." And, all good. So, breathe easy.
Mm-hmm. Want a shot?
We can definitely take a shot.
Take a shot.
Let's end it on a good note. Yeah, on a good note. Yeah. And yes, to life, to your mom, to your story, moving forward, to being able to help somebody. We gotta heal this trauma, guys. We gotta change these mindsets. We've gotta really do that self-work, because It can happen to anybody. You can find yourself in this situation because you haven't worked on self, and like Miss Ty was saying, don't have the self-esteem or not loving yourself the way that you're supposed to, and just us growing as people. Yes. All right. Well, there's that. Another conversation on that Soul by the podcast. We'll be right back here next week for another combo. And I promise it won't be so heavy next time. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's talk about it.